Today we have part 7 of the story with the headline, War's Bravest Deeds, Recollections of Episodes of Heroism by Land and Sea. The subheadline says, Stirring Contributions from Colonel N.T. Wills, Major Alfred R. Calhoun, Captain George P. Singer, Edward Dawn. Today's installment is told by Major McDowell. It says, It was the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg. We were in line of battle on the north side of a knoll, with our guns planted at the brow, where they commanded perfectly any advancing body of the Confederates. After the battle had been raging for some time, our officers could see the enemy preparing for a charge. The guns were double-shotted, and the order given to wait until the Confederates came within short range. On came the line, double-quick, until it was within less than 100 yards of the muzzles of our guns. There was a flash of flame, a roar that shook the hills and valleys, and when the smoke cleared away, there seemed to be nothing but piles of dead and wounded. Our shot had mowed a tremendous gap in the line, filled only by prostrate bodies. Quick as the movement could be executed, however, the advancing line was reformed in front of the windrow of bodies, and elbow to elbow, the charge was renewed. They were so near that we could see their face, and I shall never forget the expression of courage and determination, which it seemed to me I could see as plainly as though we were face to face, and which showed that they were either going to conquer or to be shot to death. Again our guns belched forth, and again the whole line to a man seemed to go down. A new windrow of the hundreds of dead and dying was made considerably in front of the former one. Like magic, the line of the enemy formed again and again, elbow to elbow, in front of the piles of their fallen comrades. Those undaunted fellows came on. Even amid the smoke that was now clouding everything, we could plainly see that terrible expression of desperate and fearless courage, which was almost as appalling to us as the decimation of their ranks must have been to them. A third time our batteries poured forth their murderous fire, and a third time the charging troops of the enemy disappeared, but only to form again, and they finally made it so hot for us that we were forced to withdraw to Cemetery Hill. I cannot conceive of a grander exhibition of courage in battle than was exhibited by those Confederates. Each time it was almost certain death, and yet not a man seemed to waver. The precision with which they were formed after their fearful decimation of their ranks that followed each discharge of our guns was, I think, the most marvelous thing that took place under my observation during the war. An incident which occurred at the Battle of Dranesville had a mixture of the tragic and the humorous that makes it worth relating. The color sergeant of Colonel McCalmont's regiment was Frank Alexander, a fellow not counted particularly clever, but one who was infatuated with his office and with his flag. While the battle was raging and we were slowly advancing, Frank, in his enthusiasm, got far in front of the regiment. "Bring that flag back to the regiment," shouted Colonel McCalmont. There was no response, though it was evident the color bearer had distinctly heard the order. "Bring that flag back to the regiment," again shouted the colonel. "You bring the regiment up to the flag," shouted Frank furiously, and the colonel obeyed the order. When Frank was afterwards taken prisoner, he managed in some way to wrap the flag, which was so precious to him, around his body, under his clothes, and so carried it with him until he was exchanged. This installment was written by Alexander McDowell. This story came from the great state of Wisconsin, being reported in the newspaper library of March 31st, 1894. Thank you for joining us today. If you want to continue to uncover all of America's lost and forgotten history, then remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.